There we go. All right, recording is live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Trials of Casuals podcast with your boy Dominic Fox and our wonderful co-host Catbox Dani.
Whoa.
So, Dani, how did the back half of your stream go yesterday? Because I was kind of in and out yesterday for your birthday.
It went pretty well. I ended up going for like 14 hours in total.
Fuck yeah, bud. Fuck yeah. That's the kind of shit I like to hear. I was there, so, okay. I was there when you finished Superliminal,
Yeah.
and then I was also there for the entirety of the Just Chatting in the library, for the most part. Uh, and I don't know how I feel about it. Yeah. And then I was there when you first started Hades, and then at that point I was like, I'm losing like eyesight. I need to go to bed because I was so exhausted. And I think that was around like 12:15, 12:30. What time did you end
Yeah.
your time?
I ended about 3 my time.
Okay, so roughly about 4 my time then. That's wild though. That's like
Yeah.
mad wild. Like I'm actually mad surprised.
Like, if I didn't stop when I did, I probably would have kept going.
I think that's fair. I
Yeah.
think that is a 100% fair statement. I mean, honestly, you know what you should have done? You should have kept going, though.
I could have, but I wasn't the only one that was just teetering on the edge of sleep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody was dancing with death yesterday
Yeah.
because of the lack of sleep.
Oh, yeah.
That was the only reason why I didn't stay up any longer was because my body could not handle it. I mean, when I first started streaming, absolutely. I could. I mean, you were there. You've been. I mean, how long have you been watching my stream, Dani? It's been a bop.
Been a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you remember when I used to do like 12 to 16-hour streams on the regular.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I would do them every fucking day. And I was like, fuck it, you know what? We're going 16 hours today. Eat shit, chat. Like, and now I'm just like 12 hours, man. God damn. I don't know. Maybe it makes me. I kind of feel a little bit like an old man when I do that, but it is what it is. Uh,
I mean, I remember the days of pulling like 36-hour plus.
oh yeah, and then randomly waking up and go like, cause you like play. You would play for those bunch of hours, and then all of a sudden you'd be like, "What happened?" A whole week went by because I was asleep. Sal was mad that I'm making old people jokes. Oh no. I mean, I'm not boomer status. That I 100% will agree with. I am most definitely not boomer status. Uh, but yeah, no. I mean, I'm glad that you had a good stream yesterday though. I'm glad that you had a good time.
Hmm.
Uh so do you have anything planned for this week?
A lot of Xenoblade.
Why so much Xenoblade?
Well, 3 just came out last week.
Oh. Huh. Fair enough. So, alright. I mean, have you been like a big fan of Xenoblade?
I am being introduced to the series.
And you're starting with 3?
Yep.
Why? Isn't that normally bad to do? I mean, I guess I don't. I mean, I guess not. Because, I mean, like, you can play Gears of War and you can start it too. But if you play Gears 1, some of the shit makes more sense.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like you can technically start with any one of them, but the more that you experience, the more that you understand.
It's kind of like it's also kind of like Halo, right? Like all of the Halo, like we can all agree, the Halo games. Well, at least when Bungie was doing Halo, you could play any
Yeah.
of the Halo, like Halo 1, 2, or 3 solo for the first time ever, and be like, all right, this is a really cool story. And then you go back and play the previous games, you go, ah, fuck Guilty Spark.
And then you play Reach and you just cry.
Oh my god. Uh, George! George!
Your objective, survive.
George! Oh my god! He was the best character!
Yeah, Reach just hurts.
Reach hurts. Yeah, no, Reach hurts the soul. Reach absolutely hurts the soul. We need new channel points because I'm hoarding them to make you grind the British line, but you don't do tanks. I'm replaying Halo. I really should redo them. I mean, here's my thought process about it. Is I'm hoping, and hear me out on this, once I get a new PC, right? Once I get my PC, which I don't know when the fuck that's gonna be, I am going to get a new mic, and I'm going to add some new stuff, specifically voice-wise. Uh, because this little Radiocaster mic doesn't do my voice justice. Because I had a boom mic for a while, but for some odd reason, it did not want to work with this laptop, which is why I'm not able to use it. Which I'm not going to lie is a little frustrating. It's a little frustrating. Because I really love it. And it was sent to me by a viewer of mine by the name of Griff. And I feel bad because I can't use it. It just will not work with this PC. So yeah, there's there's that. But I am going to be adding voice stuff, such as possibly singing for channel points, possibly singing sea shanties.
Yeah.
Cause I have that kind of voice. I will say though, I think I spammed like 3 aras of you, yesterday during your stream, cause I was just like, you know what, I need this in my life like right now. I need this in my life like right now. So, oh, all right. Well, with that being said, I guess it's time to go ahead and get started then, yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, let me swap over to the screen. Oh, nope, not that one. Boom, there we go. Alright, so. The TWAB, yay, this week at Bungie, it is raid date night. Whoo, and this week is spicy. Because I'm pretty sure you've been seeing the same shit that I have, Dani, on Twitter, and players are not happy. Players are pissed.
It's been something.
It is bad. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeesh. Okay. Well, so basically, we've got one more week of solstice, starting if you watch this, well, technically if you watch this the day that this video comes out, you'll have less than a week for solstice left. Because it resets on August 9th. Yeah, it resets on August 9th. So, you've got less than a week to get all of your solstice shit done. Along with that, they announced raid stuff, including the raid date. So, alright, Dani, let's just quickly go over this, alright? Because there's a lot of shit to unpack, and there's a lot of shit to talk about. So they still haven't revealed what D1 raid it is. The Destiny 2 showcase is going to be on August 23rd. The raid goes live at 10 a.m. Pacific on August 26th, which means it will go live here on the East Coast roughly about, I believe it's 1 in the afternoon, correct? 1 in the afternoon on Friday?
I think so.
It's 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Just because of weekly reset. No, it's not weekly reset. It's It's Friday, right? August 26th
Yeah.
is Friday, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
on
the
August
26th is on
20.
Friday.
Yeah, which is the first issue that we've got. But we've got to get we got to get through a lot of stuff here. So, because this will be a raid that many of you are already somewhat familiar with, we will be changing up the world first race a bit similar to how we did with Vault of Glass. Here's what to expect. The raid will launch with contest mode enabled for 24 hours. Okay? You will need to be at 1560 power to be at the cap for all of the encounters. Clearing the raid with contest mode active is the first step to access the new challenge mode in the director and the special triumph for completing all of the challenge triumphs for each encounter. Completing the secret triumph, a curated list of challenges in this newly unlocked challenge mode, will be how a fire team crosses the world first finish line and claims their prize. To enforce the triumph requirements in the challenge mode, your team will wipe if you fail the success conditions during any encounter. Challenge mode and the secret triumph will only be available for the first 24 hours, so make haste if completing it is on your bucket list. The first fire team to do so will be declared the world first winners pending a review from our team. If everything checks out, the final 6 members of the winning fire team in the activity will be awarded the coveted raid belts as a monument to their achievement. Alright, there's a lot of shit to unpack. First of all, why the fuck did they move it from Saturday to Friday? That made zero fucking sense.
It really did, and that is exactly what people have a primary issue with. You have the, like, I do nothing but play Destiny group that is okay with that, because, like, they
They,
play Destiny.
yeah, they're going to be making
And,
content anyways because they do it for a
yeah.
living.
And then you have everyone else that's like, yeah, there's no way in fucking hell I can do this on
Yeah,
Friday.
because the majority of players in Destiny are like do you remember the poll that they did a while back of like their average age range?
Yep.
The average age range of like Destiny players is like 19, 20, 21, 22.
Yeah.
Right, with obviously some other outliers, like for example, Dado, iFrostbolt, Mr.
Most of the
Fruit.
people that stream and make content on the
Yeah, the majority of them are like my age and a little bit older, right? But the majority of the actual players, like the majority of like the casual players, are just slightly younger than you and me, right?
Yep.
Most of these guys or girls, and those in between and outside the box, are in high school or possibly college, which means chances are they are gonna have class on Friday afternoon. Like, that is super fucked up. Why they moved it to Friday makes absolutely zero sense. I get it, right? Moving the time to be a different time, I get it. The timestamp is a little bit different than last time, because this time, the raid is in the afternoon, not like first thing in the morning, right?
Yep.
Right. So, but why did they move it to Friday? That made zero sense.
Yeah.
Like, I understand moving the time back from, like, the super early morning so that the Destiny, the Bungie community, the Bungie devs didn't have to stay up all night finishing touches, right? They could they could go to bed early, wake up, get their finishing touches, and then send it out, right? Like,
Yep.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the raid being later. I'm totally fine with that. I think, honestly, that's a much better change. But, and this is a big booty, why did they move it to Friday? That made zero sense. Like, it's always been on Saturday. New Raid has always been on Saturday.
The only other thing that I could think of for why they would want to have it on Friday instead of Saturday is just because everybody's in the office. Still.
BD said their excuse was so they could have people at the office to fix the raid to avoid another vow situation. Then you know what? You know what? You specifically have a dedicated team for that. You don't have to have every developer in the office for that. You can literally be like, hey, we need this specific set of developers to stay additional hours, right? And you can either do a voluntary setup, right, where people volunteer for it from the development team, or like you can have it set up to where it's like, okay, this group does this specific raid. Then the next raid that comes out, the next group does a specific raid, right? It makes, like, the fact that they did this makes zero sense. They should have had, like, it's a raid. It happens, like, oh my god. I mean, raids appear every, what, roughly about 2 to 3 seasons, give or take, with maybe
Yeah,
a dungeon in between somewhere. Like,
at
you
the rate
can,
they're bringing him in.
yeah, you can rotate teams in and out. Like, you do not have to have the whole development team to be there. I mean, yes, I agree. What happened with Vow was super fucked up. Like, the fact that it was
so buggy.
It was so buggy, and the fact that one of the main teams, scrolled all the way up. That's not what I wanted. And the fact that several of the teams made it within, like, I think it was the first 10 teams. Like, out of the first 10 teams that made it, like, seven of them made it through bugs and glitches.
Yep.
Because it just kicked them to a new encounter.
And
Because that's what happened with the champions. The champions team. Who was that? Glad's team?
I don't think it was. I forget who it was.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I'm trying to remember whose team it was. But they literally got to skip a whole encounter because
like,
it bugged out. They wiped, and then it immediately skipped into the next encounter. They didn't even beat the encounter. They got to go through it completely free. Like, what? That's so unfun. Like,
if I remember correctly, like, Glad's team, one of their members got booted mid-encounter, I think, and they had to wipe and restart. And it fucked them.
Yeah. Hey, what up, Sam? Yeah, it's Jesus. It's rough. So to me, it wouldn't be so bad to launch of a Friday if they extended the contest mode to 48 hours so people who couldn't make it because of school and work could do it. Yeah, extend the time to 48 hours to allow for that. I mean, here's my issue. You can just do that on Sunday too.
Or, the other option, have a difficulty setting and just leave contest as an available mode.
I mean, yeah, players have also been arguing for that for fucking years.
Like, don't limit it to the first, like, 24 hours just to do contests. Like, you can leave the emblem for the first 24 hours. That's fine. Like, don't time gate the actual difficulty.
Yeah, it's really dumb. I mean, the rest of this is pretty much exactly what we saw from Vogue. You know, the specific new challenges, the triumphs that you have to get. Like, we saw this in Vogue. For the most part, nothing of this is new. Obviously, the light level is a little bit higher. The biggest issue that I think a lot of players have had is the fact that it's happening on Friday. And to me, that is a major mistake by Bungie. Like, I get it, right? You need to have your team in. But again, have your team in for an additional day. It makes zero sense to just not have them in for an additional day.
Yep.
I don't know about you, but that's a little fucking ridiculous to me. So, I mean, it is what it is.
It's gonna be a significant, like, drop off in the amount of teams that will actually be competing for it.
Yeah.
As well as, like, views.
Yeah, because I mean, nobody's gonna be able to watch it. Like, half the community's not gonna be able to fucking watch it because people are either gonna be at work or at school. It's literally just going to be the content creators. Like, this is another thing as casual players, Dani. This is something that we absolutely hate. It's just pandering more and more and more to the hardcore players. Everybody should have a chance to attempt a world first. Everybody should be allowed to have a chance at world first. Now, whether or not you get worlds first, that's a different story, and I completely understand that, right? The chances of a casual team getting worlds first, very slim. I get it. But they should be allowed to compete. The fact that basically Bungie told every casual player, yeah, no, go fuck off for this, raid, that's just a stab in the back.
Yeah.
Make it voluntary and give them a bonus for the employees to work that extra day. Exactly. Right? It's a raid. It's supposed to be special. Right? Like, everybody's always excited for a raid. exactly what you said, Solid. That is a great incentive. It's not like Bungie's not fucking making money. Like, Jesus. I mean, how many people bought fucking, like, pre-ordered Witch Queen? Do we need to look up those numbers? Because that's a lot of money, dog.
There
But,
were
yeah.
a lot. Choice.
Yeah, so. Alright. Enough about the new raid. Other than, you know, the fact that they still have it redacted, even though it's a raid we've already seen.
Like, they're gonna wait, show it off on the 23rd.
And people are going to
And
be like,
then-
why?
And it's just gonna be 3 days until it actually comes out.
Yeah. Also, oh, actually, no, there is one more thing that I have to note. Uh, this is something that I forgot. This raid, you get 3 days, what is it, like 3 days to prep for it during the
Yeah.
new season? That's really shitty.
Cause like, it's an old raid, so it's like, with contest mode on, you're not going to be any more powerful than what is it, they said 1560?
1560 here. You'll need to be at 1560
Yeah.
power to be at the cap for all of the encounters.
So like,
I mean, most players,
chances are most players are there.
yeah, the issue is that the biggest reason why they normally give 2 weeks before, 2 weeks into a new season before they bring a raid is because during a new season, they bring in new weapons. And sometimes those weapons are pretty big game changers, right? Like, it's not so much the level, it's the actual weapons themselves.
Exactly.
So, it is a little frustrating, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, moving on. Making matches. Yes! This is the kind of shit that I was actually very, very excited about. They are bringing in skill-based matchmaking to Crucible. So,
Yeah.
quickly going over this, we're striving towards a goal that all players, including new lights, can enter the Crucible and regularly get matches where they can feel competitive and have a reasonable chance of winning/competing. Making fair matches using skill-based matchmaking is going to be important to help meet that goal. We are starting by implementing loose SBMM to the control playlist at the start of Season 18. Loose SBMM has a wider starting skill similarity than Survival, and should result in matching with a wider variety of players, while also eliminating some of the frustrations we see in our current system. Expect Loose SBMM to expand to other playlists in future seasons as we tune what we consider a high-quality match by gathering real data and feedback from you. We are not planning to add it to every Match-Made Crucible playlist. We will continue tuning until we are in a good place. We will report tuning updates regularly, and we will be implementing a form of fire team size preferred matchmaking in Season 19. A lot of what follows is pretty in-depth. Feel free to skip to the tuning section below if you aren't interested in the details and just want a high-level view of what you will be experiencing. Okay. Whew. All right. This is very exciting. I think everybody can agree Crucible is fucking terrible right now. Not nearly as bad as Gambit. Fuck Gambit. Gambit is trash. Don't play it. But Crucible is a little frustrating because you don't get the wow, this is a really close game. It is wow, I'm getting shit stomped or I'm shit stomping. Like there is no in between. Like very rarely do I get a match where it's like 159 or like 149, 148 right at the end of the game.
It is very rare right now. Like,
yeah.
I don't think I've ever had the mercy rule engaged as often as recently.
Oh my god, it's so bad. I'm really excited for skill-based matchmaking because Destiny is one of the and I specifically like two of these sentences. Number one, we are not planning to add it to every Crucible or Matchmade Crucible playlist. That's very important. It is not getting added to every single one. They are adding it strictly to the control playlist, which is the basic standard playlist. So, survival is still going to work roughly the same. Like all of the special game modes, right? Like obviously, like Mayhem is going to still work regularly fine. What are the other major game modes? There's Mayhem. There's Scorch. Fuck Rift.
Momentum control whenever
Momentum
it kicked
control.
in.
Yeah, those are all like fun game modes that are just dumb, right? So
Yeah.
they don't need special matchmaking because you don't play those to grind Crucible. You play them to dick around and have fun with dumb builds, right? Whereas Crucible,
And
you generally tend to like try to you use Crucible to warm up and obviously farm ranks, right?
yep.
So I like that they specifically stated that because it's a good move in my opinion. Uh, the other and I like that they're starting with a loose SBMM. Now I don't know how much you understand loose BMM and other games that have loose BMM, Dani. Uh,
Vaguely.
yeah. Loose BMM. How is the best way that I can describe it? Loose SBMM is kind of like it's like it's kind of like Warzone if there weren't cheaters.
Fair.
Because the way that Warzone works is as such. You play a set of matches, and you get what's known as kind of ELO or MMR, right? And you get placed in the matches against people that are roughly around your skill level, right? It's the same way that League of Legends works, right? So you can play ranked, and you're probably going to only be playing around people with your skill level, but in normals, if you just play normals, like if you're in a 5-man and you're just dick around playing dumb shit, you'll still be facing roughly people around, the average same skill, right? If you got like a plat player, 2 golds, a silver, and a bronze, chances are the majority of the player base is going to be roughly about low gold, right? Give or take, because they try to do the average, right? So that's kind of how this will work in that same regard, right? If someone's which is good because it means that people who are slightly higher than the average will obviously perform better and they'll slowly get into better and better and better matches. Whereas people with lower MMR will be placed in lobbies with other people that are low MMR so they can actually practice against people that are their skill level and not get shit stomped every game. So I'm actually a really big fan of this. Again, because it's only going to be in the control playlist, it means that if you don't want that, you don't have to play it. You can play
Yeah.
other shit. I think this is probably one of the best changes they've made to Crucible in a while. I'm very excited for this. This may actually make me want to play Crucible. Like, actually. Because I'll actually be playing against people of my skill level and not getting fucking 25 and 1 KO'd every game.
Yeah.
So that'll be exciting. Like, obviously, there's always still going to be problems, right? People who play the system and shit like that. But with loose BMM, it's less likely to happen than with a hard SBMM, where you tend to find people who have Smurfs. And it's hard to do Smurf games in Destiny anyway, strictly because of account locks and stuff like that. So
Yep.
it is what it is. But overall, I think this is a very good change. Do you have any thoughts about it?
I mean, compared to the current system, yeah, it seems like a very much needed improvement.
Yeah. Now, if only they could goddamn nerf Titan melees, Titan melee
Titans.
shotguns,
Just
Titans and Hunter invisibility. Fuck Void Hunter invisibility. That shit is so terrible. Oh my god, I hate it so much. It's impossible to see shit. All right. Now they're moving on here to say the goals of creating high quality matches. All right. So we developed some goals we will be working on over the next few seasons. All players, including new lights, can enter the Crucible and regularly get matches where they can feel competitive. All players, whether solo or with a fire team, can find a place in the Crucible where they can play a variety of matches and have a reasonable chance of winning competing. We are defining reasonable as expected win rate between 40 and 60% for most matches. Players are rewarded based on their skill and proud of their skill. Reserve a place for players who do not want to engage in the skill system. Again, we kind of went over that with it's going to be set up and it's only going to be in control, so that makes sense. The better you do an actual loose SBMM, the better rewards you're going to get. The only thing that I'm not completely a fan of is the expected win rate between 40 and 60%. It should be 40 it should be 45 it should be 45 to it should be 45 to 55%. Because that is more average than 40 to 60.
Yeah.
Because okay, I need people to hear me out on this. All right, if you go in to a PvP game mode and someone has a 41% win rate, chances are they're probably not that good, right? Whereas if you see someone with a 59, 60% win rate, they're probably smurfing most of their matches. Like, the extremes are too far apart, right? If you want a
Yeah.
true average, it is always going to be 45 to 55%. A 10% gap, not a 20%. It is a 10% gap, right? Because 45 to 55 is reasonable. 40 to 60 is an additional 10% that somehow manages to make it in and is not good, right? That's not an average. Your average is 45 to 55%. I don't know why people think that 42% is average. It's not. 45 to 55. As someone who plays a lot of PvP games, 50% is 50 fucking percent. Like, bruh. That's 1 out of 2 games. That's good. That's your average. If you're winning 50% of the time, that's good. Like, people don't seem to understand that. If you're winning 49% of the time, that's still good. If you're winning 40% of the time, that's not good. That's 2 out of every 5 matches. I want people to understand that. It shouldn't be 40 to 60%. This is more of a logistical thing and an analysis thing that I get into a little bit, but I don't like this, but this is a solid start.
Right.
They also go into connection quality, which, damn, we felt some of that on Sunday, did we not, Dani?
Yeah. There was
Uh,
some of that.
yeah. There are 2 types of connections that are important: connection to the game server and connection to all players in the match. Generally, bad connections to other players have a larger effect in Crucible than connection to the game server. So when we talk about connection quality in Crucible, we are talking about that. Connection from player to player. Lower quality matches result in jerky movement by other players, missed shots, or getting unexpectedly damaged or killed. When fire teams are spread across the globe, we pick a single player's latency to speed up finding matches. Match fairness. Ideally, all players in a match have a reasonable chance to win that match, i.e., have similar skill. Matchmaking speed. We always consider matchmaking speed as a key element. No one wants to wait 10 minutes between matches, no matter how perfect they end up being. When matchmaking, we must balance these 3 elements. If we want to lower matchmaking speed, we are either going to need matches that are less fair or matches with lower connection quality. We'll continue tuning to find the best balance possible. This, I understand, this is always going to be a problem. This is always going to be a problem. There's not a fucking thing you can do about it. So, I'm not going to fault Bungie on that. They are doing their best to work on connection issues. Because if you focus on one of the other 2 falls in the wayside. So, I understand trying to find that balance is not easy. Okay. Jesus.
There's a lot.
You know what, Dani? I'm gonna go ahead and let you take over the skill section, if you wouldn't mind.
Alright. Let's see. Oh god. Oh god.
Yeah, looking at the graph right now.
Yeah, that is interesting. Huh.
So, where do
That
we want to
is
start?
a lot to take in at once.
Jesus.
Also,
Oh.
yeah, I'm reading through this That is something that I have noticed as well. Is like you won't ever actually see a skill value in game. It's true.
Yeah,
Just like
because
the
you can't.
closest, yeah, the closest you can get to an actual in-game skill level is in like the glory playlist.
Yeah, which doesn't even have an actual skill level. I mean, the general rule that I run by as now, mind you, as a casual player who has done trials like twice, maybe 3 times, still haven't
Yeah,
gone flawless yet. Um, the general rule that I have is if I see the trials emblems, I start to sweat a little. That's when I start to be a little annoyed.
it's very specific ones.
Yeah. Like the moment I see the glowing emblem, I'm like, "Oh no. I might as well just leave this match. This game is over. I'm not playing this." Right. That's because the problem
Yeah,
is that there is no such thing as MMR, at least currently setup system. So you can't just look up a player's skill level. You have to look up KD, you have to look up level, you have to look up stuff like that. So it's kind of it's kind of rough. So, Danny, I'm going to go ahead and leave the screen here on the number setup for the skill level. If you please would not mind go over that for those in chat and on YouTube because I need to go to the bathroom.
all right. So now, how do these skill numbers actually play out in game? A good shorthand we use initially. If someone is 200 skill above you, you can definitely tell they are better than you. They'll have 70, will win 75% of engagements against you. The opposite is true if someone is 200 or more below you. By the time you get to a difference of 400, the better players are going to win 90% of engagements, and lower skilled players need to get extremely lucky to pull off a win. Once you get to a difference of 600, there's basically zero chance for the lower skilled player to ever win in a 1v1 conflict. Engagement should get fairer the closer you get to the same skill. Yeah, it's basically like throwing someone that has literally just started playing the game in against someone that's gone flawless like 2 to 3 times the past week. It's not fair. It's not fun for the other person. And you're probably going to get your shit kicked in repeatedly. So, yeah, like, it needs to change. It, it definitely needs to be a little bit more balanced out. Because, like, because of what I did in the past, for instance, my, my, my rating is higher than it really should be. So, for instance, when I get put into matchmaking, like, I'm either going to be playing against people that are very similar to my matchmaking level, or I'm playing against people that are way, way more into Crucible than I am. Like, previously, when I'd play a lot, I would run into a lot of people that had not forgottens and had the full like Crucible seal. I'm like, ah, nice. I'm just here to do my weekly. I didn't sign up to basically get my shit stomped for the next like 30 minutes. Thanks, matchmaking. And that happened constantly. And then you try to play Rumble, just to be like, okay, yeah, maybe I can escape them here and just do dumb shit. No, nope. There was no escape. They're there too. Just no escape from them.
All right. Where am I coming in at?
Uh, I was talking about my experience with my matchmaking because of how I played in the past, I am a lot higher skill level rating than I should be.
Ah, gotcha. Because you decided to sweat a little.
I played a little bit of the glory playlist back and got almost up to legend. So my matchmaking is like permanently fucked.
Yeah. I do like that they're looking to kind of fix it for Gambit as well, so that's kind of nice.
Gambit just needs that heavy spawn reduced.
It also needs to be PvE sandbox, not PvP sandbox, but that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
All right, talking about the problem space here. Boom.
Oh, let's see. Started looking at the landscape in Destiny. We noticed a few things outside of survival and elimination. The ability to influence whether your team wins or loses is usually out of your personal control if you are average skill or below half the population. This can feel bad. Yes. Yes, it can. As the
So,
match outcome feels essentially random and you don't feel motivated to try to win, this has contributed to us de emphasizing winning as a requirement to gain rewards in the Crucible. Makes sense. Oh, God.
yeah, 80% of matches are getting mercied.
Yikes.
That's that's like 80 to 90%. That's a big yikes.
I also have noticed a high amount of people just quitting.
Yeah, because they don't want to play a match.
Yeah. They
I
start
mean,
getting close to Mercy and they just quit.
yeah.
It's like,
I mean,
yeah,
I finished the match out simply because even if I lose, I'm still gonna get legendary gear no matter what. So like, that's just free shit. Like, I could deadass just like, I don't know. Though to be fair, if someone quits, I mean, I'd rather just let them quit than just be AFK and useless.
yeah,
But it is what it is. Hopefully, hopefully with the whole system, it'll be a lot better. Especially now that they're going to be trying to fix, the wide skill disparity, right? So, like for example,
yeah,
on the other hand, in freelance survival, 60% of matches have a 250 skill difference or less. This is much more reasonable. That makes sense. Survival is already a skill-based matchmaking, so overall that makes sense, right?
yeah.
Control is so fucking bad. Like it's literally people who sweat lord versus the average casual garbage, right? And
Roll,
then KDA,
rumble.
I don't understand why people spam like KDA. Like people were. I think the biggest problem that we saw with this was recently with Rift. People were not finishing the match; they were just overinflating their KDA before
Yeah.
and just letting the timer go, which I'm not a fan of. I hate that. I hate when players do that. If you're gonna win, just please, just fucking win. Get me into another game where I actually have a chance to play.
Yeah.
That's all I ask. Right. So, and they do mention ELO here, right? We all kind of understand what ELO is. So it's nice to see that they actually specifically state that. Going on through match balancing, they're also going to be balancing fire teams and the amount of people in fire teams. So it's not going to be like you and me versus a 4 or 5 man. Hopefully in the future.
Right.
That'll be nice. SBMM and control, we kind of went over this earlier. Trials has no plan changes to its matchmaking, which I kind of understand, but I also don't. They, again, like, I get it. It's trials. It's basically their version of ranked. Here's my issue. I should not be getting up. I should not be playing against people who have already been flawless several times.
Yeah.
Like I should not be playing against people. Like here's the thing: if you have a fire team and nobody has gone flawless before on your fire team, you should not play against other people that have already been flawless. That should never happen. If I'm going to fight a team, I want to fight a team that is also trying to get their first flawless. If you have one player who has made flawless once, that should automatically put you in a separate system. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. Because the way that they do trials gatekeeps people from ever trying to go flawless. I mean, you, me, and Buddha have done trials, what, 3 times together now? And not once have we gone flawless. Because we've gotten... How many... You know what, Dani? Let me ask you a question. How many times have we played and we've gotten to like the 5th or 6th match and we're like, oh, we're feeling good. We're having great time. Like, we've only lost like... we've got our 1 free loss. It's chill. We're going through. And then we lose 8 games in a row on the 6th round.
Yep.
And 5 of those 6 teams, or 5 of those 8 teams, go flawless. And you can tell by their gear, they've already been flawless.
The best one is when you're playing your first game and you're fighting a team going to the lighthouse.
Yeah,
those are the best ones.
Yeah, those make absolutely zero sense. I don't understand why they need to fix trials matchmaking in the fact of that, like, even if only one team member has gone flawless, you're now officially only in the flawless queue. Like, I'm sorry, that's just how it has to be. Like, it's so unfair to the casual community who still doesn't have the triumph. You and I still don't have the triumph for going flawless, and we've been playing for years. Years! And we still don't have it, because we get gatekept by people carrying shitters.
Like, D1 is the best matchmaking I think that Trials ever had. Because you would not see teams that are going to the lighthouse unless you yourself were about to go to the lighthouse.
Yeah.
Like, they prevented that.
Yeah, it feels bad. It feels bad. Connection-based matchmaking, it's basically just going to be, they're just going to try and find players with better connections or the best connections and go through it and find it over and over and over again. Which may take more time, but overall, I'm honestly fine.
Yeah.
So, you're always going to have some latency, what they're saying about this right here. You're always going to have some latency issues, which, again, is fine. There's always going to be latency issues just because of where people are located. And the only way to fix that is just have dedicated servers for specific regions, right? Like, for example, World of Tanks has NA and EU, at least for console. League of Legends has NA, EU, Korea, China, Oceania, South America. Like, they have specific regions to help improve latency issues. But Bungie just doesn't have the manpower. Well, I mean, with their big hiring thing, they could actually, you know what? They could probably have the manpower now to actually make more servers for different regions. So, but I mean, it's making a new server is rough. And the other thing about Destiny is that the whole point of Destiny is that you're supposed to be able to play with people from across the world on the same server. So, so I kind of understand. I understand both sides of the coin on that. So if they don't get a new server, I understand. If they do get a new server specifically for matchmaking, I also understand. Again, there's always going to be latency issues. Nothing you can do about that. I'm never mad about like, oh, there's a small ping, like a small ping spike because someone has really bad internet connection. Like, if someone's in Crucible and they're just trying to play for their weekly, their weekly 3 games, and you just so happen to get put in their match, it's whatever. They're just playing. It is what it is. It's when you get like 6 matches in a row where everybody's fucking lag spike and you're like, okay, no, we can't do this.
Exactly.
Skill-based matchmaking, we kind of already went over this. Basically, it's just going to help you kind of find people around your skill level. Again. And again, like they said, we would rather sacrifice some match fairness in order to maintain connection quality and matchmaking speed. Again, it's a weird thing. You just kind of have to go through it, right? Loose SBMM, again, completely fine. We get it. Now, here's where some of the actual numbers are starting to come in. What are we going to be looking at while we tune? All right, matchmaking time. Minimize players who cannot find a match in 10 minutes with a goal to keep the average under 2 minutes and under 4 minutes for 95% of players. That's pretty reasonable. Mercy games. Right now, mercy rates vary based on the map, as low as 5% and as high as 25%. That's 1 out of every 4 games. We believe the number of mercy games should be under 5% on all maps, but not actually hit 0. Again, completely understand that. Final score differential. In general, games should be closer in score. Right now, 65% of matches end with one team hitting the score target, 15% going to time, and 15% ending with a mercy. Our goal is that less or greater than 80% of matches end with one team reaching the score target, and most of the rest ending with a time limit. We're looking for most matches to have under 10-point difference between the two teams. Again, makes sense. The whole reason I quit this. Jesus, Rogue. Less variance between the top player and bottom player. Right now, 5 to 10% of matches have the best player scoring 30 to 39 more kills than the worst player in the match, and 50% of matches have the best player getting 20 to 29 more kills. We believe that 90% of matches should have less than 20 kill difference between the best and worst players, and 50% should have no more than a 10 kill difference. That makes a little bit more sense. I mean, there's always going to be people that stand out, especially in their ELO and MMR, so understandable. I know that they want to try and lower that just a little bit, so that way it's not like... the best way that I can describe it is taking League MMR, right? So like a Silver 1 player is not going up against a Diamond 1 player or a Diamond 4 player, right? Like that's basically either like Diamond 4, Plat 1. Like it's not too far out of distance to beat, but chances are you're still probably going to lose anyways. And it's going to be more like a Silver 1 player plays against like a Gold 1 player. Much more available to beat. What about the no-kill people or the PvP cannon fodder players? I mean, that's just another issue in general of just people just not wanting to play the game the way that it's supposed to be played. Skill distribution, again, they're just trying to get the majority of the matches to be roughly between 400 skill difference, 200 on each side of the average player, right? Again, that makes it a lot easier and a lot easier to compete. Fire team sizes, they're basically just going to be trying to make sure that everybody stays roughly around the same level, so that's not too bad. All right, the Trials of Osiris map got voted, and this week it is Eternity.
It was indeed.
Honestly, what did I say though, Dani, last week? I said it'd be nice to see Eternity be played, and we got exactly what I wanted. We got Eternity.
Eternity's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fun map, and it has a lot of playmaking ability. I just think that there's way too many ways to get around the map completely unnoticed. That is my only issue.
It's a little big for just 3 players on each team.
Yeah, that's the only issue with Eternity that I have. Now if they made a Trials version of Eternity and closed off part of the map, I wouldn't actually be mad about that. It made it just a little bit smaller / a little bit harder to get around super sneakily. So, but overall, it's nice to see Eternity make a comeback here. And interestingly enough, here was the vote chart. Eternity was 39%, Widow's Court was 31%, and Rusted Lands was 30%. Again, not mad about it. There's the emblem for everybody that came in and voted. And then the Primed and Ready. Don't forget to pick up your Twitch Prime drops. I did that yesterday, so I got to go to Amanda today and pick my shit up. Player support. And interestingly enough, there is a Seashore Pack update. Last week we identified an issue causing players who purchased the Seashore Pack from Eververse to not receive the included items when opening the bundle. This issue has been resolved for future purchases of the Seashore Pack, and affected individuals who previously purchased the shit should now have the individual items unlocked to acquire from Rahul in the tower. The event card, again, expires August 9th. That's when Solstice ends. There's a bunch of known issues. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, nothing really hard new. So, Invasions and Sweeper bots. We've got Movie of the Week, Born to Rule, the Destiny 2 Gambit montage. We're not going to watch it. Fuck Gambit. The Landfall, a Destiny 2 story. What the fuck is that cat? Why does that cat look like it belongs from Blink's Masters of Time and Space?
That's a great question.
Also, I'm glad that you got that reference. Nobody I know has ever played Blinks. I've played both 1 and 2, and I love them. Those were good games. It windy, but we knitting through it. And now we got into the more of the community section. We are now going to go through the Twitter. Looks like Vespa. It did a full model of Keitel. Here she is in her full beauty. 20 centimeter custom Keitel statue made from resin. Fuck, the detail on that is so good.
That's really good.
That is so. I love like the embedded gold gems on her. That is, and I like that. For those of you on YouTube and Twitch, it's a little bit hard for you to see, but they ornamented her tusks like it is in game, and that's amazing. I really love that.
That's good.
Then there is Keitel and Savala by K King Draws, and they're just sitting there knitting, having a good time. That's really wholesome, because Keitel's learning to knit and Savala's just enjoying the time.
That's really good.
And then we've got then we have The Witness, Okay, But What If by Morning Junior Pro, and it's the smoke going into the wind. It fucking windy. That's a good tweet. That's some good art. And he looks so mad too. That's good. All right, we covered a lot today, so I'm going to keep this outro short. You have another date to mark on your calendar with the redacted raid going live on August 26th. Hold on, where is the special thing? Where is it? 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 Where is it?
See, did they put one in this one? They might not have put one in this one. Because if I remember correctly, it depends on who's writing it up.
Yeah, because this was done by Cosmo. Yeah, it doesn't look like they did one this week. So, Dani, what are your thoughts overall on the TWAB?
A lot of PvP stuff.
Which, to be fair, is kind of a necessity, I'm not gonna lie.
It needs it, but
it's not exactly what I'm hoping for.
Like, it's a nice change. I don't think it's gonna get me to play PvP anymore, but it's a nice change.
I agree. I think the skill-based matchmaking is going to help a little bit. The biggest issue is the things that people are still consistently abusing. Void Hunter Invisibility, Titan Melee Shotgun builds.
Just Titan anything.
Yeah. The fact that Titans legit cannot be killed. Like,
Titans are just PvP.
Like, Solar Titan, I Nova Bombed a Solar Titan and he lived. Like, that should not happen. I'm sorry.
Solar
that
Titans
should not
are
happen.
Busted right now. Just
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah. It's not okay. But overall, I think it's a solid patch. Nothing too crazy, too special about it. Again, I would have really liked to see more shotgun nerfs. I think shotguns, I think Vex Mythoclast in PvP is still gross. I think I have been seeing a lot of Shayura's Wrath recently, and I'm not a fan of it. I'm really not a fan of it. Like, keep that shit in Trials. I don't want to see you sweating in Crucible. Fuck off. We have Iron Banner in Trials for a reason. Yeah. Go sweat somewhere else, rats. So, but overall, I think that's pretty solid. So, do you have anything else to say about the TWAB?
I mean, that's pretty much it. Cause like, I don't play much PvP anymore.
Anything about the raid anything about the raid adjustments then?
The raid adjustment, it's a little weird. It's a little weird.
Yeah, I'm not completely sold on it. Again, no. I'm not a fan of the change.
Not sure how it's gonna go over, because it's already not going over great.
Yeah, the community is already not a fan of what is happening. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, but anyways, I think that is where we will end the Trials of Casuals podcast. So, Dani, where can they find you?
You can find me on YouTube and Twitch here at Catbox Dani. YouTube's a little harder to find, but I have a link for that. It
Yes,
is, I think, down in my Twitch somewhere.
yeah. Your link will also I will also be putting both Dani's Twitch and YouTube in the comments of this video. And you know what? That is what I would like for you all to comment on. What do y'all think about the TWAB? Are y'all fans of the raid changes? And do you think SBMM is going to make me want to play Crucible more? The answer is no, but let me know what y'all think. Uh, you can find me on Twitch here at twitch.tv/DominiFox. You can find me on YouTube at DominiFox, and you can find me on Twitter at DominiFox1. With that being said, thank you all so much for joining me and Dani. We both hope you have a wonderful day. And you know what, Dani? I'm trying to think of a new. I should face this way so I can actually face you, because you're not over there, you're over here. Um, I'm trying to think of like a catchphrase specifically for Trials of Casuals, but because I can't just use my normal good hunting. And you know what? Put something in the comments below. Let us know what you think our ending catchphrase should be. So, anyways, thank you all so much, and we'll see you all next week.